Welcome to the next episode of Monday Mindset Matters. These quick meet-of-the-moment episodes offer you some tools and biblical encouragement to help you, the Christian educator, no matter what role you have on campus, stay connected, stay grounded, and stay prayed up so you can be the light in the middle of this trauma-responsive movement. So, let's get right to it. Welcome to the Society's Child podcast, where we have real conversations about being a trauma-responsive educator in the midst of a significant mental health crisis. Hi, I'm Trish Senzak, a former educator, compassion advocate, and Jesus lover, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Are you feeling confuzzled about your students' behavior and needs? You're not alone. If trauma-informed strategies leave you wondering, what's next? Don't worry. My friend, I've been there too. As a foster mom and a child of complex trauma mixed with my experience as a teacher, it's led me to finding a compassionate, whole child approach that's evidence-based, practical, and transformational, and I'm so eager to share it with you. Whether you want to connect with your students on a deeper level, create a trauma-sensitive environment, or you just need a little bit of encouragement or support, you're in the right place. So grab a drink, a pen, or your earbuds, and let's work together to create a safe and student-attuned trauma-responsive school culture. Society's children need you. So let's get started.
Welcome back, friends. Excited to be here with you to continue our series on summer healing. And please forgive me, I've got a little bit of something going on, but today's episode is all about encouraging you. And I want to encourage you in whatever stage you are at in your restoration this summer, that you are really thinking about how you can be better off for yourself in your personal life and for your kids. And of course, most importantly, for your relationship with Jesus. That is the most important thing. So today I thought I would talk a little bit about how we can view our journey and view our progress. And today's scripture comes from 2 Corinthians 12:9. But he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." A lot of times we struggle with what we're doing wrong. I am constantly self-criticizing, trying to get myself better, trying to work on self-development. And many times I'm beating myself up for what I could have been doing better or what I could have been doing right. And as we're embarking on this Summer of Healing series, I'm really wanting you to think about taking this to a level of how can I make myself a better educator so that I can show up better for my kids and therefore help my kids in the trauma area. This leads us to an ability to be able to have understanding, relate with our students more, and it helps us to have better positive self-talk, maybe even take care of our own self-care needs, which then in turn, we begin to be able to teach that to our kids and work on that forgiveness, not only for ourselves, but the forgiveness that Jesus gave us. And then we can turn around and help our students have that same understanding. So a lot of times when we're working through these moments of self-restoration or self-direction or self-adjustment, whatever you want to call it, whatever path you're on right now, sometimes it's really hard to lean into the parts of it that are ugly, the parts we don't want to look at. And that's the parts we really want to take a look at. Those are the parts that when we're not thinking about it, they can come out sideways. They're the ones that can get sticky in personalities and in relationships. They're the ones that can say things that are hurtful or that come out of our personality when we don't think about it. So it's what's in our heart. So it's super important for us to be able to pay attention to this time of renewal, and not only for resting, but restoration and redemption. And God gives us that if we will work on that and work on that process of what it means to help us become better humans. And so in that process, I think we also have to have grace. He will use our weakness for his power and for his glory. We know that. But as we're trying to work on bettering ourselves, I think it's important that we understand that we can never be perfect, and God's grace is sufficient for us. We've got to get to a place where we can have that self-forgiveness, no matter how much we hold on to and no matter how much we try to get better at what we do. As we're trying to progress and get better for him, as we discover truth and as we read scripture and as we go deeper and deeper, things become more evident to us and we become more convicted about different things that he wants us to participate in and to grow in and where that growth needs to come from. we have to have self-grace for ourselves and extend it to ourselves so that we can extend it to our students. God does this for us, so we need to be able to do it for other people as well. I think it's important that while we're in this season of restoration and going forward, we got to find a way to replace that self-judgment and criticism and replace it with the negative thoughts with affirmation of God's love and God's grace. We don't deserve that grace that He gives us, but if we prioritize that and try to work on replacing those negative thoughts of beating ourselves up with those affirmations of what God says about us, that helps us in our healing journey. And if we can prioritize this self-care and these activities that we're working on, we will come out of this summer rejuvenated. We'll be focused on growth. We'll be focused on helping our students. Our classroom management will see a change. Student behavior will definitely be something that we have a more tolerance for and able to work with on. I want to encourage you to really step into this uncertainty of this time of restoration, this whatever healing that you're particularly working on. Step into it with confidence that knowing that we can be as uncertain as we need to be in our healing journey, but God's power is made great through our weakness. He's going to use what we have that we are worried about. He's going to use that as we're healing. We can also recover from setbacks easier. We can lead with more consistent and fair classroom management just by having that sense of grace and that tolerance and mercy with ourselves. Then we can be role models and we can teach students to do the same kind of thing and walk through that same kind of healing. Because ultimately, isn't it about fostering a supportive and empathetic classroom or campus culture? That's what we want to do. So this week, friends, I want to encourage you to really stay in God's grace. It's sufficient. His power is made perfect in our weaknesses. And I would encourage you to do this week. Really think about a recent challenge or this recent situation that you're working on and present it to God. And then I want to encourage you to apply that self-grace and that mercy in this situation. Whatever it is you're working on healing, whatever this recent challenge is or this situation that you're going through, I would encourage you to have a little bit more self-grace and reflection for yourself. Start each day with prayer. Keep a journal, because I'm telling you that as you're walking through this, even one tiny step closer, we're going to be closer to getting to the place of that growth that we need to. And there will be little things that we can record in our journals that have allowed us to have that grace and that mercy and that self-criticism and that critical speak that we have in our heads. It will be less and less and less. We don't want you to go through this alone. We want you to have fellow educators or fellow accountability partners or whoever that you have for mutual encouragement and support. So please make sure that you're engaging some community, finding people that can walk through this with you. So I want to encourage you to share your experiences with an accountability partner. Even come over in our Facebook group that is Society's Child for the podcast. Come join us and share in there. You can even send me a private message on Facebook. I would love to walk through this with you. So this week, we're going to be doing another episode on action and what it means to kind of sit in this place of balancing between making this change and literally stepping into action. There's always that teetering effect. And so I would encourage you to listen on Wednesday because we're definitely going to be talking about that a lot more in depth. All right, there you have it, my friends. I hope this is helpful, and I pray that you will be working through 2 Corinthians 12:9 this week and understand that God's grace is sufficient. His power is made perfect in our weakness. Have a great week, my friends.
If you're looking for ways to build more peace in your career, I've created a list of 75 affirmations based on 25 Bible scriptures, and I'd love to share it with you and help you keep your sanity. You can go to trishz.com/Bible-AFFS. That's AFFS for affirmations. I'll also leave the link in the show notes for you too. Until next time, my friend, stay grounded, stay regulated, and stay prayed up. FFS for affirmations. I'll also leave the link in the show notes for you too. I hope you found something encouraging and inspiring in this episode of Monday. Hey, amazing educators, thanks for tuning in. If you found this episode helpful, I'd love for you to hit subscribe and leave a review. Even better, share this episode with a colleague. And hey, I'd love to connect with you on social media. You can even join my Facebook group for some extra support and a dash of inspiration. I've left all the links in the show notes. Until next time, my friend, remember, you're not alone on this journey. You've got this. Keep making a difference and stay teach-tastic.